very warm welcome to a brand new episode of Melt. I'm Ritvika Gupta, and on the show today we'll be covering how Asian Paints is responding to the current crisis and the initiatives it has been taking to stay relevant and responsible during these uncertain times. We'll be in conversation with Amit Syngle, Managing Director and CEO of Asian Paints, to understand how the brand is going the extra mile. But before that, Anant Rangaswami, editor of Melt, joins me today. Hi Anant. So Amit Syngle recently made a statement announcing a salary hike for his employees, clearly going against the tide. In your conversation, he also emphasizes the need for Asian Paints to be a responsible and caring brand. So there's definitely a difference in approach from other brands. How do you think Asian Paints is leading through the crisis?
Ritvika, from the time we've had the lockdown, like anybody else, I've been looking at what the government is doing, what companies are doing, what individuals are doing. But from the perspective of Melt and from the perspective of our show, I obviously look at what brands are doing. So the first interesting thing that popped up was what Nestle was doing, because I'd heard that Suresh Narayan had committed that nobody in Nestle would lose their job or would face salary cuts. Now, that was a very strong statement at a time when everybody was talking about salary cuts and sacking people and downsizing and right-sizing. The second person we spoke to after the lockdown, the big one, was R.S. Sodhi from Amul. And that was a provocation caused by the fact that his products were available in almost every corner of the country. So, what could marketers learn from that? How do you distribute in times of a lockdown, and so on? So there were lots to learn. Now, Amit Syngle caught my eye simply because he went beyond these two in the sense, paints is a category which is not considered essential. So paints were not available in lockdown 1.0 or lockdown 2.0, and yet Asian Paints had done multiple things. One was they had decided to increase salaries of all their stakeholders, their employees. They increased commissions to their distributors, or rather make terms better for their distributors. And they introduced new products. Now, why would they do these things? And that's what I wanted answers to, and that's why we decided to speak to Amit Syngle.
Well, thanks Anant. Today's conversation has been recorded over Skype. Our sincere apologies for the patchy stream. On that note, let's get ready to melt with Amit Syngle.
Amit, good morning.
Good morning, Anand.
Amit, a few days after the lockdown began, I interviewed Suresh Narayan. And in that interview, Suresh said Nestle categorically would not be getting rid of people or cutting salaries and so on. He made a statement. Now, Asian Paints has gone one big step beyond that in your statement. So tell me, what are the steps you've taken, the big steps since the lockdown? And then later I will come to the why of it. But first, what are the big steps?
Okay, Anand, see, these are unprecedented times. And actually, at this point of time, whatever leadership we can display is something which is to the core. What we see is that as a responsible and caring brand, there is a responsibility towards both internal and external customers.
Right.
We looked at initially first step to kind of take care of our employees because their safety came in the first. We established a 24/7 customer internal employee helpline, which they were able to contact us throughout the period if there is any exigency which is coming on to their end. Medical urgency was extended to them, whether it was an ambulance or any medicines to be done. And I think that is something which we established paramount. I personally was in contact with all the employees. Okay. And that was, I think, a big step because communication in these times is really important. And if we are able to assure our people that we are in control and everyone is being taken care of, okay, I think that was a great step which we felt in terms of remaining in touch and connected with the set of people. We also looked at engaging them in terms of various areas. So people were working from home and we actually unleashed a range of digital training programs which they were able to align sitting from home in their own safety. And at the same time, they could really enjoy learning in this environment so that they could take time off the anxiety. So these are some steps which we did to make them safe. I also felt that for any organization, people are the essence. And today, the DNA of any organization comes from the people who work within the organization. As a step towards this, while there were so many pressures in terms of stringent cost cutting measures, okay, we took a very considered opinion, and I personally felt that in these tough times, we need to award our employees very strongly. And I took a reverse tide in terms of looking at saying that we will increase the salaries of our employees. I can tell you this step in terms of ensuring that the salaries for each and every employee got increased was a step which got a certain acceleration into the organization. So much so that so many employees wrote to me saying that we can join the organization at any point of time, at even midnight if it is required. At a clarion call, we will all come together and we will see that the organization is able to take whatever steps to kind of go ahead and establish themselves in terms of whatever business they can do. I feel that for any organization, in the life cycle of any organization, these problems will come. The environment will offer challenging situations. These are blips which will come in. And I think as leadership, we have to accept that in the entire big life cycle of any organization, we need to take considered opinions, which go a long way in terms of establishing a rapport with the people so that they truly feel that when you say that you are a responsible and a caring brand, you really mean it. It's not a flash in the pan in terms of saying so and acting in a very, very different manner given the constraints which might come in. Profits can be earned, business can go on, but I think there are times when you need to take care of both the internal customers and the external customers very, very strongly.
Amit, you also sort of sweeten the deal for your dealers and distributors. So these are all, like you said, going against the tide. Most people would say short-termism cut costs, and you're saying short-termism, let me work on the longest possible termism, building Asian Paints as a brand. So explain to me what you've done for the dealers and distributors and why you've done that.
Okay, see, as I said, these are all stakeholders in the business of Asian Paints, and we were really pledging that all stakeholders we will take care. So it is not only about customers and employees, our dealers, our contractors, everyone comes into the entire frame. So the steps which we took, first of all, we released about almost more than 300 crores of rupees into their accounts so that we could ease out their outstandings, which were really giving them a pressure in terms of what to do, in terms of how to settle it and what to kind of do. And this was done at such a brisk pace that they themselves were surprised and pleasantly surprised that in just about 10 days, we were able to kind of put that kind of money in their accounts. And they said that for a lifetime, you've taken our loyalty towards you because no company at this point of time, when there is a cash crunch happening, would look at such a big disbursement in terms of the way, in terms of our accounts. Not only that, we established a dealer helpline as well, 24 by 7, looking at in terms of how we can cater to their medical exigencies in this environment, if anything which happens. We also assured them that as and when the business opens, and when now in the lockdown 3.0, businesses have started opening up, we have looked at providing them a Asian Paints sanitization service. Not only that, we have also provided medical insurance to the people who are working in the shops, the labor which is working in the shops, so that they are able to kind of take care and feel confident about their working in it. We have also given them safety kits, so they are able to wear masks, they are able to wear gloves, they are able to wear goggles, and they can do their different transactions which are there. One other big step which we have taken is we have given them a new layer of, of credit, which in these times we felt that essential. And it's an absolutely new layer of about 45 days, which we extended to them so that they are peaceful in their mind. They're able to transact whatever little business is coming in a manner which they feel aligned very strongly to the company. So lots of measures, and I personally spoke to more than about 1,000 retailers myself, one on one. Okay, and I felt, they felt really comforted in terms of saying that here is an organization which is not just thinking of what is happening currently, but they're talking of something which is long term.
Amit, and more interestingly, during this period, you have not shut off your communication tap in the sense of your advertising tap and so on and so forth. Ads are still being made for Asian Paints. You've seen a few films which have been released on digital. Again, what makes you think, in the early lockdown up to 3.0, your goods could not even be sold? So, what was the need for you to communicate, and why did you communicate?
Yeah, we feel that in the entire brand life cycle, the customers are your key stakeholders, and if in these tough times you are able to communicate to the customers and maintain a certain brand saliency, okay, the customers always would kind of really reward you for the time you have spent with them in terms of communicating, being with them in these crazy times. What we did was something which was very, very, strong with them. We took our Har Ghar Kuch Chupchap Se Kehta Hai, and we related to small events which were happening within the home. And we wanted to appeal to the emotional connect with the homes and the families together with the social messaging of staying home and staying safe. And not only that, we've been onto the digital platform continuously from the point of view of live concerts, from the point of view of engaging with them one on one in terms of doing lots of other things. We even did conducted a workshop for consumers online in terms of engaging them as we kind of go ahead. We feel that for any brand, okay, in their life cycle, it's important that you stay connected and have an ear to the ground in terms of what customers are thinking, what customers are saying about the brand. And therefore, I think the entire effort was not look at the fact that business is happening, not happening, but devote your time in terms of seeing that you're able to maintain that brand salience. So the brand is right up there in their minds at this point of time, not talking of shouting prepositions in terms of what you can do, but really relating to them in a very emotional manner so that they feel connected.
Right. Now, when you took all these decisions, you have to carry with you the major shareholders you report to. Now, there's a conflict with the shareholders. A lot of the things they're doing, uh, it's a long-term value to the shareholders, but lot of pain short-term. So, try and explain to me, without getting specific, how you manage to convince shareholders to A, increase salaries, B, increase credit periods, C, continue with communication, because these are all counterintuitive.
Yeah, Anand, one of the rules I have very clearly defined for our company is that whatever we do, we take the board with us. Okay,
Right.
they are an integral part of the decisions we are making. We keep them really informed. Okay, and that's the zone in terms of what we've been working in. Yes, it is sometimes very difficult to get your point of view across. You have to stand by your gut and see in terms of whether you can really give them the assurance that you are doing it for something which is there in the long term. Because everyone would like that in the long cycle, the brand really does well, and I think it carries on. So if you are able to assure them and tell them saying, yes, this is a measure you are taking, but you will give them 10 times the return in terms of what you're talking of now, and you can put your neck on the line. I think the board really comes and really supports you in terms of these initiatives.
Right. The other sort of quiet thing you've done is to introduce a few products in the marketplace, including sanitizers, for example, non-conventional products. So tell me, A, the range that, I mean, the few products you've launched right now, and B, why you've done it. Because these are loss leaders for you.
So, see, this entire germination of the idea of some of the products came at the behest of Ministries of Health and Ministry of Chemicals, where we felt that as, again, a responsible corporate, we have our real duty towards the government and the communities around us. And they said that, could you really help us in terms of making or doing anything which really helps the community? We looked at this category, and, as I said, our people really rose to the occasion, and we would able to just in 12 days look at the entire setup in terms of what we wanted to do with sanitizers within our plants, within our facilities, and we started really manufacturing from 1st of May in terms of introducing sanitizers in the market. So the germination of the idea, as I said, came in from the government, but we felt that we would be able to help not only the government but communities and NGOs around with this product. And when we got into the category, we also found that it had some synergy with the health and hygiene category, which we have been pursuing for a while within Asian Paints. And there we have products like a Royal Health Shield, which is an antibacterial paint which goes into homes to provide antibacterial protection for the walls. And therefore, we felt that while it's an absolutely new category of sanitizers, we could leverage that into the health and hygiene and look at in terms of how we kind of reach to homes and assure people that here is a safe product which comes in, which really takes care of them in a very, very strong way. So I think that's the way in terms of we came in, and as we entered, now we have introduced a range of sanitizers. So whether it is a hand sanitizer or it is a surface sanitizer, which is a very unique product which can be sprayed on any surface and really disinfects the surface. And the third is a space sanitizer, which really disinfects the space around us in a very strong way. So we have got into a very strong of innovation in terms of introducing these products. So not only this, even in the health and hygiene space, we have introduced a product called the Royal Health Shield all substrate clear paint, which can go into any surface and provide antibacterial protection in the homes. And we are looking at more products coming on the anvil, which we can excite the market. And as we speak, we've also launched an anti-asthma paint, which is there, which is for homes again, which really takes care of the bacteria which produce the viruses in terms of the anti-asthma. And that's the new thing which we have introduced first time almost in India. No other brand has kind of done this stuff. And we feel that today the acceleration is very, very high. That having entered with sanitizers, we are looking at really leveraging this space in a very strong way.
Amit, from the time you have joined Asian Paints, you have been at the forefront of building brand Asian Paints and various sub-brands. So tell me, during the lockdown, what is the level of your interaction with your communication partners, your external communication partners, and how are you managing to keep that wheel of communication going?
Okay, Anand, I strongly believe that communication is the essence at this point of time, and more you communicate with all your stakeholders. That is something which is going to win you laurels as you kind of go ahead, and it is something which will always stay with the brand for a long, long time to come. I personally have been speaking to employees. I've spoken to more than 3,000 employees one on one, and not only once, several times in terms of engaging them, speaking to them, answering their queries, looking at taking care of their anxieties in a very, very strong manner. I've spoken to more than 7,000 retailers one on one, speaking to them, trying to see in terms of what their anxieties are, how businesses would shape up, how will they kind of go ahead in terms of doing it. Not only that, I have also spoken to contractors one on one myself at this point of time. And therefore, I would say my personal involvement, and sometimes I feel that during the lockdown, I'm almost spending 20 hours, speaking to people, engaging with people, speaking to agencies outside, and looking at saying that we are able to make a very, very healthy connect. But I'm enjoying this process because I think from where the brand stands in and where the brand looks in, it's something which is a very progressive step. And it gives me really energy in terms of seeing that the more you talk, the more you are connected, and the more you are taking the organization, the brand forward.
Right. Now, as we end this conversation, uh, to all those in this, at the CEO level of various companies in India, if you had to summarize all that you have experienced at Asian Paints into one sentence and therefore help them open their minds, what would that one sentence be? Sorry.
Yeah, I would say that, this is the real time to show empathy in your leadership style and look at really connecting with all your stakeholders in a very strong manner. This will really fetch us good returns for future.
Thank you so much, Amit. It's been
Thank you, Anand.
absolutely fantastic talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Anand.
Thank you.
And that was Amit Syngle telling us how important it is to maintain communication with employees, consumers, and all stakeholders during these critical times. Here are some of the key points highlighted in the conversation. To be a responsible and caring brand, Asian Paints believes that the first priority is the safety of employees. The brand also believes in boosting employee morale during these tough times by awarding them. Asian Paints also has extended support to dealers and vendors. The brand emphasizes the need to maintain brand salience and stay connected with customers during this crisis. And finally, it is important to show empathy and keep up communication with all stakeholders. Anant, what can marketers and CEOs learn from Asian Paints when it comes to approaching a crisis like this?
Ritvika, there's so much to learn. When most listed companies are trapped in short-termism, you've got Asian Paints with the leadership of Amit Syngle looking at perhaps the immeasurable long term, which is the strength of the brand, the equity of the brand, the relationship with distributors, dealers, even the employer brand. And these are great lessons for, I think, anybody in business to learn, not just large companies, any company.
And before we wrap up today, here's a look at Asian Paints' second ad for their Stay Home, Stay Safe series. As mentioned by Amit Syngle, this is a part of the brand's communication initiatives to inspire consumers to stay home. Titled Har Ghar Chupchap Se Kehta Hai, the ad is a follow-up to their first part, which we reviewed a couple of weeks back. This one has a different take on the emotions associated with homes. It shows a beautiful camaraderie between the home and family members. Once again voiced by Piyush Pandey, the spot will bring a smile on your face and remind you what home means. Take a look.
हर घर चुपचाप से ये कहता है, अच्छा लगता है जब सब कोई अंदर रहता है। कोई मेरे कानों पर लगे जाले उतार रहा है, कोई जाली में जमी धूल निकाल रहा है, कोई मेरे पैरों तले लगी फिसलन हटा रहा है, कोई खुद को नहीं मुझको संवार रहा है, कोई शायद ये कह रहा है यहाँ न कोई चिंता न कोई डर है। आखिर ये मेरा ही तो घर है। हर घर चुपचाप से ये कहता है, अच्छा लगता है जब सब कोई अंदर रहता है। Stay home, stay safe. Asian Paints.
With that, it's a wrap on this episode of Melt. Don't forget to follow us on social media. Our handle is Ready to Melt. You can also stay informed on what's happening in the world of advertising and marketing with our daily Melt update on our website readytomelt.com. And I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Stay safe. Goodbye.